Have you ever heard of an empire built on gold, a legendary stool that fell from the sky, and a brilliant military mind who turned the tables on his oppressors? Today, we're journeying back to 1701, to the heart of West Africa, to witness the explosive birth of the Asante Empire in modern-day Ghana. This isn't just a story of conquest, it's a tale of unity, strategy, and the creation of a powerhouse that would shape the destiny of a region for centuries. Our story begins not with triumph, but with submission. For years, the Akan peoples, a collection of related groups, lived under the thumb of the powerful Denkyira kingdom. They paid heavy tributes and endured the arrogance of their rulers. But in the late 17th century, a new leader emerged from one of these Akan states, the Oyoko clan. His name was Osei Tutu, and he was destined for greatness. Osei Tutu was more than just a warrior, he was a visionary. He understood that the scattered Akan chiefdoms were weak and divided. To challenge the might of Denkyira, they needed to become one. But how do you unite a people who have been independent for generations? You need more than just a common enemy. You need a shared identity, a common purpose, and a touch of magic. This is where Okomfo Anokye enters the story. A revered priest and a close advisor to Osei Tutu, Anokye was the spiritual architect of the Asante nation. He provided the ideological glue that would bind the Akan states together. Together, Osei Tutu the statesman and Okomfo Anokye the spiritual leader formed one of the most powerful partnerships in African history. They began to forge a new confederation, a union of states with a shared military and a common council, all centered around their growing capital, Kumasi. Their efforts culminated in a legendary event that would define the Asante people forever. Okomfo Anokye is said to have summoned a stool made of pure gold from the heavens itself. This was no ordinary piece of furniture. The Golden Stool, or the Sika Dwakofi was declared to hold the Sunsum or the collective soul, of the entire Asante nation. It was a divine symbol of their unity and legitimacy. The stool belonged to no single person, not even the king. It belonged to all Asante forever. With this powerful symbol, the various Akan groups were no longer just allies. They were one people, the Asantemen, but a symbol, no matter how powerful, doesn't win wars. The Denkyira king, Ntimgukari, was still the dominant power in the region. He grew increasingly wary of the growing strength of Osei Tutu's coalition and demanded even harsher tributes. The final straw, according to oral tradition, was an insulting demand that the Asante chiefs send their favorite wives and even Osei Tutu himself to serve the Denkyira court. This was an affront they could not bear. The time for rebellion had come. War was inevitable. The decisive clash happened in 1701 at the Battle of Feyiase. The Denkyira army was confident, perhaps even arrogant. They marched into Asante territory expecting a swift victory. But Osei Tutu was a master of strategy. He knew his terrain, and he knew his enemy's mindset. Instead of meeting the Denkyira in a straightforward battle, he laid a brilliant trap. Asante forces, bolstered by allies who had grown tired of Denkyira's rule, executed a perfectly timed ambush. They used the dense forest to their advantage, encircling the overconfident Denkyira army. The fighting was fierce, but the outcome was decisive. The Denkyira forces were crushed, and their king, Ntimgukari, was killed in the chaos. With that single victory, the tables had completely turned. The era of Denkyira dominance was over, and the Asante Empire was born. Osei Tutu was now officially the first Asanahim, the king of the United Asante nation. With the victory at Feyiase, the new empire began a period of rapid expansion. They secured control over vast territories and, crucially, over the region's lucrative trade routes. What made the Asante so wealthy? Gold. The region was rich with it, and the Asante quickly became the masters of the gold trade. They controlled the flow of this precious metal from the interior mines down to the European forts on the coast. But it wasn't just gold. They also traded in cola nuts, a valuable commodity highly sought after in the savanna regions to the north. And this is where our story connects with other great West African powers, including those in what is now Nigeria. The Asante Empire didn't exist in a vacuum. It became a major player in a complex network of trade. Empires like the Oyo and the Benin Kingdom to the east were key trading partners. While the Asante were known for their gold, they also participated in the devastating transatlantic slave trade. They would trade gold and captives acquired through their military campaigns with coastal states and European merchants, who in turn supplied them with firearms, textiles, and other goods. These firearms, in a brutal cycle, further fueled their military expansion, allowing them to consolidate their power and control even more territory and trade. The capital, Kumasi, blossomed into a sophisticated urban center. It was the political, economic, and spiritual heart of the empire. From here, the Asante ruled over a complex state, managing a powerful army and a vast network of trade that stretched for hundreds of miles. The administrative structure that Osei Tutu put in place was remarkable, allowing the empire to govern its diverse population effectively for nearly 200 years. So, the rise of the Asante Empire in 1701 wasn't just a single battle. It was the culmination of brilliant leadership, spiritual unification, and strategic military genius. It was the story of how Osei Tutu and Okomfo Anokye transformed a group of subjugated states into a formidable empire, built on the solid gold foundation of trade and the sacred Golden Stool that represented the soul of their people. Their influence would be felt across West Africa, creating a legacy of power, culture, and resistance that continues to inspire to this day. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into the heart of the Asante Empire. If you found this story as fascinating as I do, please hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into history. Let me know in the comments what other historical events you'd like to explore next. Until then, stay curious.